Have you ever felt that no matter how much evidence you present, some people just stick to their false narratives? This isn't just frustrating, it's gaslighting, and it's incredibly damaging to organizational trust and innovation. Rise and shine, leaders. This is Glenn Guyton, your cultural futurist, equipping organizations with effective strategies to foster a culture of innovation, reduce workplace stress, and elevate team performance. It is time for our executive coffee break. I have my beverage in hand. I hope you have yours too. You know what? They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your workplace culture and, of course, your beverage. Leadership matters, so you might as well get good at it. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about how gaslighting and spreading popular, and I'm going to say lies, often fueled by the media and social media, erodes trust and hinders innovation in our workplaces. Now, again, many of us have felt that no matter how many facts we present, that these false narratives just continue. And a lot of times these false narratives around different types of people, from different backgrounds, stereotypes, these false narratives just continue. These storylines that we hear on the mainstream media and on social media and other forms of media, we repeat them often in the workplace without a whole lot of investigation, right? We don't go research things. We just hear something. We hear sound bites. We see a post. We read a blog, and we just accept these things as fact. And sometimes we bring these things into the workplace, and it can erode trust. It can erode trust in the workplace. Sometimes it's unintentional, but sometimes it is intentional. So I want us to understand what gaslighting is and how it can very quickly damage team cohesion in the workplace, which it doesn't lead to a productive workplace. It just causes people to have stress, and it distracts people. And instead of delivering your deliverables, you're managing interpersonal conflict in the workplace. So how do we avoid that? Well, gaslighting involves manipulating someone into questioning their own reality. That's a wild thing, right? In the workplace, this can manifest as leaders or colleagues denying past events, downplaying the achievements of others, or spreading misinformation. When team members start doubting their own experience and insights, their confidence plummets, and so does their ability to innovate. That's why we want to work at these things. Now, I wish we were all good human beings and just want to do what was right morally. But even if we aren't nice like that, and all we care about is the bottom line, gaslighting and spreading false information does damage our ability to produce. It hurts people. It keeps them out of the workplace, and it distracts them when they are in the workplace. And so it can cause accidents. It causes people to miss work because of having to take off because of mental and physical health needs. And so we want to create a workplace where we have what I like to call harmonious trust, where people can talk and communicate with one another. They know what to expect from their leaders, and they don't have to worry about being gaslit or being manipulated, especially by their supervisor. So let's think about these things in the workplace. You know, some people say that false information on Twitter spreads 6 times faster than the truth. Now, I don't know if that's accurate, but I've heard that. But this speed can create echo chambers where misinformation is continuously reinforced, leading to deep-seated divisions within teams. And so we have to be cognizant of even what our people are exposed to on social media. In today's hyper-connected world, the media and social media platforms play a significant role in shaping perceptions. Unfortunately, they can also be breeding grounds for stereotypes and falsehoods. When these false narratives seep into the workplace, they drive polarization and mistrust among team members, and we don't want that, right? We don't want that. So we have to try to combat these things as leaders, because we still have to deal with the people side of people. Until AI comes in and replaces us all, until we're all robots, we're going to have to deal with the people side of people as leaders. And so just a few things that I want to share with you to avoid gaslighting people and spreading misinformation. And if you want to really know about the history of gaslighting, I'll put a link in the description about where this term comes from. It comes from a movie where the man in the movie was slowly, I think, dimming the lights in the house and telling the woman that nothing was wrong, but he was turning down the gas and the lights would get dimmer and dimmer. And so we want to avoid that type of thing where we're driving someone crazy, whether it's we definitely don't want to do it intentionally, but unintentionally causing people problems, especially in the workplace when we're trying to accomplish something and help people to achieve the workplace goals. And the film was it was a 1944 film, and the title of the film was Gaslight. So it's amazing now that word has come into the lexicon. But check that out. I'll put a link to the Wikipedia on that, and you can read more about gaslighting. So what do? How do we avoid this? Well, first of all, again, we want to promote open communication, and that's what a lot of things that we're working on in the workplace. Communication is always key. We need to educate our team. If there are some controversial issues coming or some misinformation being spread, it is our responsibility as supervisors to make sure we are correcting that misinformation. So we want to educate our teams. One way to do that is to leverage data and evidence. Give people the facts. Now, sometimes you can present the facts over and over again, and people just don't want to hear it. But again, we just need to do our due diligence as leaders, and we need to make decisions based on data and verifiable information. And so when we are making decisions, and there are some wonderful tools to help with this, but encourage your team to back up their ideas with solid evidence. Even if we are accusing someone of not performing, we want to make sure we document things and we have the right evidence. And we want to foster a culture where truth is valued over hearsay. So don't believe the hype, as Public Enemy used to say. Don't believe the hype. We want to see the facts. We want to verify information, especially if it involves people's productivity, their ability to get promoted in the workplace. We want to make sure we have data and good systems where we can measure how people are performing. It's not just hearsay or someone's feelings. Part of this is just fostering a culture of inclusivity, and we want to make sure multiple perspectives are valued in the workplace. One big thing that I want to share with you that we need to really think about when we're sharing information is to tell your own story. Tell your story in the workplace. Don't tell somebody else's story. You don't know what someone else has done. You don't, just because you read something on Twitter or Facebook, or you watched it on MSNBC or Fox News or CNN, you don't know if that stuff is true. Tell your story. Talk about your experiences, and people can appreciate that. I don't really want to know what your husband, sister's, neighbors, brother's uncle thinks. Like, I don't know that person. I don't know if that person even exists, but I do know you. Tell me your experience. Tell me what you've seen and observed with your own eyes. I grew up, in the 80s, and there used to be all these stories about, I don't know, Calvin Klein and Gloria Vanderbilt and who they made their clothes for and who they didn't make their clothes for. People say, oh, I saw it on Oprah. And there's no evidence that many of these things ever happened, but we just believed it, right? You say something loud enough and a number of times, people start to believe it. But we have to fact check when we're in positions of leadership. We have a responsibility if we want to foster inclusive workplaces, if we want to foster good teamwork and drive innovation in our workplaces. We have to do our homework. And part of that is, again, telling our own story. People will connect with those things. So one of the things you might want to do if you're having trouble on your team is just to Start holding a team meeting to discuss the impact of gaslighting and misinformation. Use real life examples. Again, tell your own story to illustrate these points. Then create a task force dedicated to monitoring and addressing misinformation within your organization. Have a zero tolerance policy for spreading misinformation. Make sure that if people come to you with something, that they need to have some type of evidence or some reasonable proof of something that's going on. We don't want to have a workplace that fosters gossip. That's the worst thing that you can do. All right, so think about these things in your workplace. I also have a resource for you that may be helpful as you seek to build trust in your organization. So if you are struggling to enhance your team performance, to build trust, download the free 10-tip sample of the art of harmonious trust and discover how harmonious trust unlocks your team's potential. You know, I want you to be able to build psychological safety, foster open communication, and to discover a shared purpose for your team. And if you're looking for more, up level with the full 52-tip guide on Amazon for complete transformation of your organization. Download that free preview today. I'll put the information in the description. Let's not forget the strength and perseverance that it takes to lead with empathy and inclusivity. Better leaders get better results. So to every one of you leading the charge for a more supportive and engaging workplace, I leave you with this. Stay bold, stay inspired, and remember that your actions today shape the culture of tomorrow. My name is Glenn Guyton. You all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.